Conservative, Republican, and independent voters are tired of being forced to fund left-wing fake news. Joining me now is conservative America First Congresswoman from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's great to see you, Congresswoman. You are the chair of the DOJ Congressional Subcommittee. It's holding a hearing tomorrow. Executives from PBS and NPR are going to face some questions about taxpayer support for obviously left-wing slanted news. What's the objective of the hearing?
Thank you for having me today. I'm looking forward to holding the hearing tomorrow at 10 a.m., where we will be shining an intense spotlight on how Americans' hard-earned tax dollars have been used by PBS and NPR and the type of public broadcasting programs and radio shows they have been pushing across the country for decades. It has leaned further and further left, so much so that they now have drag queen story time instead of good old Sesame Street. They are now part of transing children, brainwashing children about gender, which proved to be one of the most important issues in the 2024 presidential election. That was a big loser for Democrats. But we look forward to having Ms. Marr, and we look forward to talking to her about what truth really is and how important it is to the American people, especially when their tax dollars are being used.
Well, Congresswoman, if I claim that I, or liberty-loving Latino, should get taxpayers' subsidies for my conservative show, you know, the Democrats would raise the roof and they would never allow it. Why then are Republicans and conservatives and independents obligated to fund left-leaning fake news?
Well, that's a great question. We know that Democrats hate conservative media because they've been trying to shut down talk radio for years. They would never want you to receive public funding for your program to put your message out. And this is also why they shouldn't receive taxpayer funding for their programs to put their message out. We're a big believer in the private business industry. So we support these radio stations and these TV channels to be able to carry on with business as usual. We also support the First Amendment. We support their right to be able to, publish their message, put their broadcasting and their programs out. But we don't think the American people should be taxed to pay for it. And I think that's what we need to have these two executives come forward and talk about why public funding is necessary for them and how they've used this money in the past.
Yeah. Amen to that. I can hardly wait to see the results from tomorrow's hearing. So let's, some news that's happening here lately. Jasmine Crockett, your colleague there in the House, in keeping with the Democrat tradition of promoting violence against her political enemies. This time she's inciting violence against Senator Ted Cruz. Listen.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with, you okay with punching. You know, I think, and I love Colin. And I think towards the end, he started to punch a little harder. But, like, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right? Like, there is no niceties with him, like, at all.
Okay, so now Democrats are also refusing to condemn domestic terrorist attacks against Tesla dealerships and facilities. Democrats, as you know, Congresswoman, have a long history of promoting violence in this country. In my view, the reason they get away with it is the timidity of Republicans, like Mitch McConnell, John Cornyn, Liz Cheney, and others. Doesn't that need to change to protect our people?
Yes, absolutely. There's some of us up here on the Hill that are taking Jasmine Crockett's words very seriously. That's why I had a conversation with our great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, specifically about Ms. Crockett and investigating her and holding her accountable to her threats of violence, her support of domestic terrorism against Tesla, her support of death threats against Elon Musk, and basically, let's be honest, her disgusting comments insulting anyone and everyone that lives their life in a wheelchair and what she said about Governor Abbott. I myself, I have to tell you, I think Jasmine Crockett is the best spokesperson and the best face for the Democrat Party because I'm very serious about winning elections in the midterms and the next presidential election. So I say we let Jasmine Crockett keep talking and let the Democrats have to embrace her or take her down as the face of the party.
You know what? I'm right there with you, Congresswoman. Let her keep talking. That's the best medicine. Let everybody see what the modern Democrat stands for. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene will be watching the hearing tomorrow. Thank you for coming on today. You know, folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.